Welcome everybody to the stream. Say hello in chat if you're just hanging out. Say hi if you plan on trading with me. So today is interesting. Today is going to be a good day. I have a good feeling about it because it's very similar to yesterday where the medium and large cap stocks really aren't making these big moves that we like to trade. Instead, it's penny stocks, these small stocks around $5. A penny stock is anything under $5 per share, not literally pennies. But all of these penny stocks are moving. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We have stocks like, let me get my list up here. Not all of these are going to be exactly penny stocks, but roughly anything under $10, I consider a stock that trades differently. That's why I scan. You can see in my scan, I scan for $10 because those ones trade a little bit different. They don't have as quick of pops. They have more of moves and trends and stuff like that. Anything under $10 usually doesn't form a trend. It just has a big burst. So a stock like APTX, this was a penny stock yesterday. It was $3.66. It went all the way up to $7.93 in pre-market this morning. That's pretty crazy. That's a huge move. And so we're going to watch this one this morning because this is where the attention in the market is right now. So yesterday we got into this account, we scanned through the market, we didn't find much, we threw some trades around to feel what stocks are trying to do in the market right now, and we kind of got a good feel for it, that if we're taking our normal trades, our normal B+, A-, A setup trades, these trades that we have tight stops on, that we take small size on but should still win, and they end up not working out at a high rate, what we do, we reanalyze, we look back at the market that day, we look through stocks that were moving that day, the stocks people were trading, and we then correct and adjust our strategy for the following day. So today we're going to be focusing a little bit more on these cheaper stocks. So let me pull up my preliminary watch list here and let's get rid of yesterday's watch list. I'm going to throw space in there. It's not moving too much today, but we did end up getting, you could see here at this gold level, yesterday we did end up hitting our swing trade target. So I put in this gold level here, and you can see down here, I have a 15-minute chart open. You can see my stop and my target up here. So that's just going to be a swing trade that we have going on in the background. All right. So we're going to have that on the watch list just because we're in that trade. We have PE. It says, I mean, it has over 1,000 shares traded this morning. In these cheaper stocks again, which this one is over 10, but it's still a smaller stock. We're looking for around 200 to 400 shares traded in pre-market, not necessarily the 700 to a million that we look for in the bigger stocks. This one I don't love, honestly. We'll see what it does out of the open because the daily chart, let's see, we're ranging between 10 and 12. That brings us here to up here. So 12 is a fun area to play around with in this stock, but if it doesn't get back up to 12 out of the open, then I'm not interested. So we'll put it on the watch list, but we'll probably take it off pretty quick. CCL. This one's similar situation. It's just testing yesterday's highs. And then it came down with the S&P 500, and that's resulting in a gap up now. Corsair. This one had its gap up yesterday, ended up going pretty much sideways the rest of the day, but today it's having an even bigger gap up. So Corsair seems like it is just having some good price target announcements, lots of price target announcements this morning, or yesterday rather. Were those all just yesterday? What time? These were all pre-market yesterday. So it seems like it's just a secondary play from yesterday's gap that the market wasn't really happy. It didn't move up. So we should see, I mean, all the price targets are pointing to 25. This one is a young stock, 2250. Why I added this actually, I don't like playing secondary plays on the when a stock moves because of news and then the day after it moves just a little bit because of that news, any residual sentiment, people who missed out on the day of the news. I don't like trading those plays because they're smaller than the first one. I'd rather play the main news play. But this one, as you can see here, 2250, big resistance level because this is its all-time high. It's only been live for the month of August plus a week. So we have 2250 as that big level. And then this morning, pre-market, we reached 2295. Right now we're at 2250. So I'd like to go long over 2250. Have a tight stop, maybe 22, and go in for 23 or so. Does this have options? I don't think so. Oh, it does have November 20 options. I don't expect these to be too volatile, but maybe because they're the only options. So these will be interesting. Let's keep Corsair on the list. Now let's head to the gap downs. We have IBM. This one, if I remember correctly, was a pretty big volume gap. Yeah, that's a big gap down, especially for IBM. Let's look at the daily chart so we can have a mental note. We're coming down to 120. 120 isn't that massive of a level in this stock. We're going to be paying attention more to this 117.50 area. Maybe as a target. If it forms a good intraday pattern at 120, we could use 17.50 as a target. Remind me of that because I'm going to forget by the time we get into this trade. Those of you in chat, please remind me. 17.50 in IBM. Maybe type it in if you'd like. Type that in chat. Carvana. Local to me here in Arizona. All right, we are gapping down to 208. So it's going to be right at this support level of this little range. Ooh. Okay, and then we have this huge gap between 180 and 200 that will probably want to get filled. What is the news going on in Carvana? Is it earnings? Price target. What up? Nothing is going on today. There's no news today. This is just gapping. Okay. I don't like that as much, but I don't dislike it. Went down to 205. There's that big range that this one wants to fill. All right, we have 1 minute left. PE's coming back up. ACI curling over. Logitech is curling back up. I'd be okay taking this one over 93. I don't love it, but we're trying to see 100 in this one, so that's okay. We can have a bigger stop. APTX curled down. IBM is coming back up, finally forming a bounce. We can see if it gives us a good stop or not. DraftKings, nothing good there. Carvana is not looking too bad. It's a big candle. I'm feeling good about Carvana. Let's get into a put here. I don't like these put pricings. Let's get into this. Let's try and get in at 6. Not going to make the same mistake we did yesterday of just entering in at the ask. Oh, yeah, of course, that's too expensive. That'll cost $600. We only have a $500 account. Looks like Carvana will be a little bit too expensive for us on this account. Let's head back to IBM really quick. PE, which one were we just waiting for? Logitech. Nope, curl back down. TLRY. Moving up. I like this Carvana setup even more now. Might be able to get in. We're looking for 200. Might be able to get in here. Let's try 35 for 1. Confirm. Send. We got in. You see we got in for 335, even though the ask is at 355. Space is hovering today. Looks like that swing trade will be a couple days. Hold that throughout the week and try and sell it on Thursday maybe. PE is fully pulling back. ACI, this is too choppy. Look at this low volume. It's like people didn't start trading until 6:34 or 9:34 Eastern. Logitech did make it spike up. That's good. I liked this one over 92, stop 91, pretty much around this hammer doji-ish candle. Stop here, enter here, target 94. Easy win. That was really quick, but probably would have been way too quick to get filled. What else? What else is going on here? IBM finally made a little bit of a move down after its bounce up, but it's just bouncing. IBM looks messy now. Head back to Carvana. Look at that big move down. We are up $24 in this trade. Here we go. Volatility is good in options. We do want to see this lower. I want to consider a 1-to-1 in this. So let me calculate. It's $4.50, which will take us to 203.50. Quick math on stream. So let's change this one to gold, and then I'm going to add a level at our 1-to-1 so that we could see where that is at 203.50. Don't worry, that's not 203.50 just yet. We can double click it, and then we could type in the number 203.50, and at the same time we could change the color to something like gray. That won't be too obtrusive. So 203.50, this is going to be our 1-to-1 target. 1-to-1 meaning 1 reward to 1 risk. Our risk is $2.50. So this 1-to-1, our 1R is another way to put it. R is a variable in terms of risk. Our R right now is $2.50. So 1R in reward would be $2.50 in reward, which would take us to 203.50. So this is our 1-to-1 level. If the stock hits this level and it doesn't hit our PT1, our profit target 1, and then reverses, we want to get out at this 1-to-1 because we guessed the direction of the stock correctly. So as a trader, you're either guessing a stock is going to go up, or it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. And you have those 3 options. Most people forget that last one, but it is possible for a stock to go sideways. Although over time, every stock is going to go either up or down. So you can think 50-50. I was right on this 50-50 on it going down. Now we will see if I was right enough for it to go to 1-to-1. If it does, then I don't want to be punished for being right. So if it goes down and it doesn't hit my target, but it does hit 1-to-1, then I want to get out at 1-to-1. $25 win in that one, not bad. Down to 750 because of this little bounce up off of 204 whole number. Is there anything significant about 204 in the daily? Yeah, there's a few people who bought in at 204. You could see it's 203.50. Actually, 203.50 is a stronger level, and that's our 1-to-1. So we should, which yesterday, what we should see didn't actually happen. But we should see this one come back down based on everything we know about stock trading. Okay, let's do a quick scan. GM, we haven't looked at GM today. We looked at it a little bit yesterday. GM is making a big move today. Look at that. All right, let's run back through. How's our space hold doing? It's curling back up. We are up $97 in Carvana. What happened? Somebody just bought in at the limit order, must have been, or market order at the ask. We're up $97 in Carvana. We want to see 203.50 though. If we get out now, then we're not respecting our stop. Then we're profiting 97. We might have been risking more than we intended to. Better stop might have been 210 actually. Now that I think about our max risk in this account, 210, you can see resistance on this candle, very resistant on this candle, support on this candle. Had this move up, which I don't like, that's why I put the stop way up here. But then you have, looks like 210 is a stronger level today. and that would have made us hit our 1-to-1 currently. All right, let's run through. These are all gap ups, ugly. IBM, sideways, choppy. DraftKings, nothing happening there. Too choppy. Carvana is the only one that had a decent trade, and I wanted to get in earlier here at 209.72 on the reversal of the low of this green candle. We didn't get in, it wouldn't fill. We ended up taking an older option. You can see here trade. We took a, not an older, a further away, further out of the money option. Which one did we end up getting into? 200, yeah, because that was our main target. So 200 is right here. 435 on the ask, 345 on the bid. Crazy. Look at that big red candle, volume increasing on it compared to the green candle prior. All right, TLRY. Nice curl down, but not much. So really Carvana is the only one I see a good trade in, and that's the one we took. Let's quickly scan for gap downs. We haven't done that yet. Before I do that, I want to see what the overall market is doing, the S&P 500. Let's head back to Carvana. It's coming down. We're up 45 now. And the spread is still wide. The previous trade was at 410, it looks like. Oh, look at this. We're up 67. Previous trade was at 410. Spread goes all the way up to 445. And that's a number that we like. That is in our favor. We are looking to get out at 200 potentially, and maybe have to get out at this 1R. This one reward to one risk level at this white line. You can see this is our R range up here, our risk from our entry to our stop, and then we have our potential reward down here. We want it to be at least identical, 1-to-1, one reward to one risk. So we're never risking more than our potential reward. That is an easy way to help you not blow your account, help you not take too many profits, because you should at least, the stock market is in essence a 50-50 bet. It's a coin flip whether a stock will go up or down over a period of time. Of course, you have time as a factor as well, but it's in essence a 50-50 whether it goes up or down. And so if you're betting it goes down like I am now, you don't want to bet. So your bet would be your risk. You don't want to bet more than you can potentially earn in a reward for being correct in the direction that it moves. Looks like volatility is starting to die out, which I don't like. Mark is at 415, just changed 395. I don't like this price action, but it's because I'm watching it. How's our space? Oh, look at space. Look at this move on our swing trade. It's up over our entry. We were up $45 on the day, $45 on the open. Excuse me. No, that's Carvana. We are up $48 on the day, $19 on the open in space. Huge volatility spike here. So space is going to be moving up. If we look here, we have 96 to 98. We entered this one at, I believe 82. 82, that's correct. So we've made back all of our losses from yesterday and then some today already. Space is still, it's back up to our entry, but we're still looking for it to hit 25. Big red candle, big volume here of people selling. Looks like they're wanting to get out, but buyers usually eat that up in the stock. It's a pretty big volume spike. IBM made a move down, but not a very clear trade entry there. Lots of levels you could have gotten. You could have gotten in under here, under here, under here, under here. Gets under here probably would have been best around this range, but then you have, yeah, it's not pretty. We have Carvana made another big move down. We are up $109 on the day in a $500 account. We were actually down to like 450, but let's just say $500 account. That's a 20% win. It's more than double what the stock market averages in an entire year. Yeah, I think Carvana really does hit our 1-to-1. I don't know if it hits our PT1 though. We'll keep an eye on it. It had a pretty red day yesterday. Momentum is continuing today. Let's look at the 2-minute chart. 2-minute chart looks nice. To the scans, anything new? Canopy. How's Canopy doing? Breaking under 19 support from yesterday. Probably going to come down, test 18 again by the end of day. I say that, but it might take a couple days to retest that level. Where's Logitech at? Okay. SPAQ, that missed trade. How's this one doing? Came up, tested this level that would have been your entry. And it's continuing down again to test 12. So this might go even further if you took your a partial profit at 12. You might be able to take another partial, sell the rest of your shares at an even lower price. Let's run through our watch list really quick. IBM looks good now. I mean, again, not a very clear trade entry, but it looks good in terms that it kept going down. Overall, 117.50 we just crossed. That's the level that Oliver put in chat for me. That's the level we're watching, so you can see it's actually acting as support now, roughly. 117.50 is this level here, this dotted line that you see right here going across. You can see it plays a role in this gap here, this gap here. The overall market, I expect, is going up. Yes, space is following that. Perfect. So we want to switch to gap ups now. Personal, switch back to gap up. Scan. Let's change this to 1 million. See what kind of numbers we get. That's a lot of stocks. More than half of them are over 2 million. So we're going to switch to 2 million, narrow it down even more. Here we go. We have ACI, CRSR, ACI, CRSR. CSR doesn't look terrible. It's up 15%. Breaking over. It did finally make its move. Or yeah, its move of the day. It pulled back out of the open. Remember, we were watching this one over 23. But it spiked over 23 on the first candle, which we don't like. We want to see a pullback. It's not really giving us a good stop level stop. It's under 22. It's over a point stop in this one, which is a bit ridiculous. GM, JKS, whoops. Logitech, we liked this one pre-market, but just choppy. Where'd my scan go? RF. Oh, Space made the scan now. That's always good to see. Carvana is going to be in the red. Oh, $10 up. Carvana has, you look over here, 27.22. It's come back all the way up to our entry. Acting as a resistance now, which is good. It's good to see a break and then a retest of your entry level as resistance, because that pushes the price down even further. Carvana, look at that, coming back down. We have Space is kind of being held up here at 24, which I've seen it held up at 24 previously back here. On this big move ahead up to 42, I traded it around this 20 break. In 24, you can see right here, 2 days in a row, struggled to break. And then it finally did. See on the way down as well, 24 acted as support on these two candles. It's looking good. Nothing else I can say about that. It's looking good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It looks good, and that's all we can really do is find stuff that looks good. Carvana coming down in a big way again. Come on. Break 25. Have your volume spike. This is good to see. We tested this resistance level. It came up, it bounced down, and now we're seeing it come down, test our 1R again. 205 is a level we could see previously. It's going to act as support a little bit right here. And then we have space curling over. That's okay. I bet you the S&P is curling over as well. A little bit. It's actually moving up, which is good. Moving back up, I should say. Looks like tech is holding it up. What's Tesla doing today? Nikola. NIO was one people were trading a couple days in a row. It's completely sideways today. 0.02% down. Practically break even. Amazon. Broke. Carvana broke 205. Here we go. We are... Option price isn't changing that much right now because we want to see volume spike. You can see how big this spread is. 370 to 445. Mark 407. We're up $72.50. Over here it says last was 320. Scan. Let's go for a $2 minimum. APTX, which is on our watch list. Still the number one trader. 55%. Highest volume of the day. Not really doing anything. We kind of saw the situation yesterday. Carvana's coming back down. CBLI. Saw this one in the news. Oh, look at that curl. Big move up just now. Buy this one over $4. Stop at 361. Target 5. Beautiful. That's nice. That's a nice trade. We missed this one. Wasn't watching it. We weren't watching, I said we would be watching penny stocks, but we ended up getting a good move in Carvana. Good move in some of the more expensive stocks, actually. It's up 130% though. So really the only way I'd be confident in this one is if this candle that I broke had a big spike in volume. It did have an increase in volume, but no higher than these candles over here, these red candles. So there's more red, more selling pressure than buying pressure at the time of it breaking. So I wouldn't have been confident enough getting in this trade that it. So buying power, $35 in buying power, that's not enough to get into another trade. Unless it's 35 cents for an option. Or we buy like 5 shares of a stock. Of a cheap stock. $7 to be exact. Like we could buy this in IBM. I don't want to buy a put to 113. It's ridiculous. It's not going to go that far right now. PE is fully recovered its gap. Might see a reciprocal move here under 10. Daily has room for it. But it's not the kind of trade I want to take today. ACI chop, Logitech. Still up 16%, but just sideways. Very choppy. APTX moving down. It's up 50%. But again, this, you don't want to short this under the breakdown of 543. It's up 50%. So you expect anything over 20%. You expect to recover that 20% Did I add 20% to my scan? I did not. Sometimes I'll do 4% to 20% and just avoid stocks like these, because at 50%, again, anything over 20%, you usually see a stock want to recover those gains. When you have gains as big as 20%, there's a lot of room for people to sell and recover that price, take their profits. So when you have a stock, especially a penny stock yesterday, when you have a penny stock that's up 50%, you'll either see it explode up or start to recover its gains. And in this case, it's recovering its gains, but at any minute, this can see somebody can buy 100,000 shares from some prop firm and spike it up. If it breaks over 6, for example, and then just shoots up to pre-market high 793, then you see a short squeeze everybody who thought this was going to recover its 50% gain, or at least half of its 50% gain, come down to maybe like $4, $4.50-ish. And then you see a short squeeze from those people and it explodes up. You don't want to get caught in that. So I don't want to short this, but I also don't want to buy it. Looks like space sideways, so the option price is going to take a hit because there's no volatility, and then Carvana is actually taking a bit of a hit. Looks like it spiked up a little. Yeah, it's coming up to test this level again. So it's come down twice now. Looks like 204.50 has been too much of support for this one. We'll keep an eye on it. I hope it doesn't curl up and break. Now that it's testing this resistance level a second time, it's possible to break it. So we don't want to see a second test of 208 of our entry. It's set as resistance. So if it meets that resistance again, that means that buyers are trying to challenge it and buy through that resistance. We don't want to see that. We want to see this come down. I don't regret not selling earlier. Again, we have a target. We have to stick to our rules, stick to our trade plan. And just like yesterday, just barely missed our target. We were 60 cents off, which in this one, 60 cents is pretty significant. But what might happen here is I don't want to let this go all the way to our stop. Because it did make such a good move downwards, we were correct in that, just not in our targets here. 204.50 is where it met support. Might get out at break even at this point because it's gone sideways, it's tested, it's tried going down. If it breaks this level, it's probably going to reverse for the day if it breaks this previous test. So I'll want to get out at our entry, which will be a loss on the option, unfortunately, because that's the way options work. Carvana's curling back down a little bit. Looks like there's a lot of pressure right here. Volume is staying steady. Volume is actually decreasing the higher it goes, which is good. That means that buyer strength is running out. So we might see, I mean, these 3 candles right here have practically no movement. So the next candle that does have movement could possibly determine the direction that this one will take for the rest of the morning session. It is currently, what, 10:18 Eastern time? 7:18 Pacific, depending on where in the world you are. So we have 41 minutes now until the lunch session. So that's going to be 20 more candles worth. Pretty much the same amount of time until lunch. So anything can happen in that amount of time. ACI made a move down now, trying to recover its. Carvana decided to make its move down. Remember how we said these 3 candles, almost no movement here. The bodies are pretty much nothing. And so nothing was accomplished. This is the bulls and bears fighting head to head. Volume dried out after a move up, meaning the bulls tried to take control. But as the price, starting with this lower candle, as the price went higher, the volume dried up. That's usually a bearish sign. That means the bulls are running out of steam. Then you have them butting heads at the top here, and then the bears finally regained control on this pretty big volume spike. Here we go, continuing this move down. Volume is increasing. See, these two red candles have higher volume than all of these green candles trying to make this move up. Very good sentiment to the downside. And we have space still being held up by the support level that we drew in yesterday based on Friday's price action. And then we see this 23.95 level as strong resistance right now. It's such a strange resistance level. There is a 4-cent spread, but that doesn't explain. It would have gotten closer to 24 if it was fully testing 24. So that means to me, if we see a break of 23.95, we'll probably see a break of 24. If we see a break of 24, we'll be playing in this range, which who knows what it's going to do in that range. Our 1-to-1, what is our stop based on? Our stop is based on this resistance level and this gap right here, support level on this candle, which is at 22. It's also a whole number. So we have, our entry was 23. We have $1.40. So that brings us to 24.80. 24.80 is our 1-to-1 in this one. So if we hit, we can draw that in. If we go to our, come on, there we go, 24.80, we can draw in this, make it white for a 1R, stay consistent with our other trade. This is going to be our 1R level. So if we come up here and it comes up and it hits 24.91, comes back down, doesn't quite test 25, then we'll want to get out at 24.80, secure our 1R. So that we are not potentially risking down to our stop more than our potential reward. Carvana broke 205. Paul's Modeling Company, welcome Paul. Is Tesla a buy now before earnings? So Tesla, I'm a fan of Tesla. I'm a fan of Tesla stock as well. And I believe Tesla's going to, in the future, now this is my belief, this is not a recommendation, do not trade off of this, do not invest off of this, but Tesla could very likely see 1,000 again, even after it's split. We have 500 as a strong level of resistance, tested it previously. I'm going to do a technical analysis for you first. We have this triangle pattern forming. Let me draw in a couple lines for you. Drawing tool. So we have resistance here. Very rough lines. What just happened? And then we have this triangle forming right here. Can bring it all the way down there actually. So we have this consolidation. We're testing the bottom of this consolidation level. Okay, the previous report, they did report a profit and they beat their estimate. Estimates were pretty low, losing negative 0.47 per share. They ended up making 10 cents per share in earnings. 121% surprise factor. That was in June. So they did report in earnings. June was only a couple months after COVID started, so not fully hit by COVID. This is the first earnings season where the entirety of the earnings season was during this pandemic phase where businesses have been struggling, but a lot of businesses have also been able to figure out a way to continue running their business through the past 4 months. So in my opinion, I'm not going to tell you if this is a buy now before earnings, because I don't think it's ever smart to try to predict earnings. You don't want to predict news. What you should do is draw in lines like the ones I just drew in. Take those into consideration, watch this one as the news comes out, then trade accordingly. Because if you're wrong, the risk is just too high. If there's some sort of surprise, you don't know. And there's also the factor of buying the rumor and selling the news, which you can see in Tesla is not really happening. We're selling leading up to quarterly results. Normally you see buying leading up to an earnings report because people are trying to take advantage of those who are asking the same question you asked of, is it a buy now before earnings? Well, some people might think so, so I'm gonna buy just in case they buy, and then the price will go up and then I could sell even before the earnings happen. I don't have to risk any money in the actual earnings report. I can just take advantage of the people that are optimistic. And there's a lot more optimism in the market than pessimism. So playing off of people's greed and optimism prior to news, especially earnings, is rather common, although we see 3 days of selling in a row, which is largely based off the stock market, although today Tesla is moving down and the S&P 500 is moving up. Down 2% is pretty significant. Nikola is down as well. So I would not say buy this now before earnings. I know it feels good to gamble your money away and get it right. Like, okay, 50-50, it either meets earnings, like surpasses earnings expectations, or goes below earnings expectations. If I'm right, I can make a lot of money because the stock is going to spike up in pre-market. It's going to open up and I get that instant gratification as soon as the market opens of profits in my account. Let me really quickly, hold on. Our trade just went down to 1-to-1 and is pulling back up. Did not hit our 200 level, so we want to get out at 1-to-1 here. Create closing order. At price 5, sell 1. Put that order out there. Looks like it might not fill. It's a problem with trading with a small account. I'm trading options because of the leverage, teaching people how they can grow a small account. But you can't get out instantly because options prices are a little bit lagging behind the stock prices. This is exciting though. Okay, so we have it dropping down to 480. We did see a trade at 5. That's probably the highest trade got to. Mark 460 was the previously traded. We're 125 up. Let's change this because it's moving up right now. Cancel replaces order. Trying it out 485. $485 is the ask. That's our order. We see this coming back down. All we need is somebody to get into a market order, buying this put that we have from us on a market order, and we'll get out. Last was $5. I'm not sure exactly why it's showing that. It's a little bit delayed. 45, 440. Decent spread. Looks like people are wanting to get into this put short. So we hit our 1-to-1 in Carvana. Finally, big move down. Lots of volatility. We didn't quite hit 202 was strong support. We didn't hit our 200 level just yet, but actually this move down is kind of confirming we might hit 200 today. You can see on the daily chart 200 is the strongest level on this chart. 202.50 though is a little bit of a level, and that's why it's being held up somewhat by this level right here. We're stuck around 202.50. It did not end up, I'm closing that order because it didn't end up, if it was staying above our 1-to-1, I'd want to get out at our 1-to-1. But I don't want to secure 1R profit in this one because I want to give it a chance to hit our target. That's why we put a target in the first place. Some excitement happening. What is space doing? Space is bouncing off of this, excuse me, space is bouncing off of the support level we drew in yesterday. Again. Looks like it's just ranging between the support level and 204, or 24, excuse me. All right, Paul, let's finish answering your question. So Tesla, I don't recommend buying right before earnings, especially because you want to look at the price action before earnings. Usually people buy if they're optimistic about earnings. They're selling 3 days leading up to earnings. The day before, you're seeing a big red day of 2% down, now 1.4% down with this green candle. But sentiment is a little bit low on this one. You could bet against the trend, buy into this one, expect it to have a good earnings report and get lucky, but that's just luck, and trading isn't about luck. So I recommend you go into this chart, you draw in the support and resistance levels, you draw in this resistance at 260, you draw in this support at 420, not 260. You have resistance at 460, excuse me, on the, not 260, it's 460. You have resistance at 460, support at 420. Go back a few streams to last week when I said that it was up here testing 460, and I said, mark my words, this is not going to break. It's not lunch session yet. We're going to trade for at least 20 more minutes. And then when the lunch session happens, we'll probably stop trading for the day. It's a lower volume day. Not expecting too many massive reversals. Okay, I'm going to get out here on this break of my 1R again. Can I get out at 470 maybe? Spread 45. 430, 45, 470. Let's try 465. Oh, we got out. We got out. Filled at 470 on this big red candle down. Not big, but this red candle down. We got out of Carvana at 470 per contract. We got in. Here's our filled orders. We entered Carvana at 335, got out at 470. That was a $135 win on a $500 account. Let's get in here and chat for a second. It's a little crazy today. So those of you who are in chat watching, I'm going to recap what happened today. Today was another slow day, just like yesterday. So we took a different approach. We started to watch cheaper stocks with higher volume, higher percentage gains than we normally look, because those stocks are a little bit more volatile, a little bit riskier plays than normal. But because volume and volatility has been so low in the market the past few days, especially yesterday, as we saw on the first day of the small account challenge, we didn't have the greatest trading day. We started off the challenge with 2 losses, which isn't the best way to start a challenge, but it is what it is. We took decent trades. We took trades worth taking with small size, and we managed our risk. And we could have lost a lot more money if we didn't manage our risk. That's why we managed our risk. We stuck to our rules. We listened to all of our stop losses, and we minimized those losses so that we could come back today, study what we did yesterday, which I did. And I came back with a new game plan today. I explained it in the beginning of this stream, at the beginning of this video. I explained our new game plan. We followed that new game plan, and we ended up finding this beautiful trade in Carvana. I'm going to show you really quick what this trade was. We got in on the 1 minute chart here, got in a little bit late. I wanted a bit better of an entry. We had this down roughly 4%, spiked up, which is good. We like to see a pullback, and then it came back down, continuing that move down, gave us a stop at high of day. I was looking to get in under this green candle, but then it was hesitating a lot. The level 2 didn't look good, so I waited for a better entry closer to low of day. We had this move here with this wick give us our entry price down at 208 whole number, which I liked a lot. So I ended up getting in below. These 2 candles showed support at this 208 whole number, so I got in on this green candle here. This candle as it broke down under 208. We purchased an option contract, a put, for $3.35 per contract. So that's $335 in buying power, which is a lot to risk in a $500 account, but we're not risking losing the whole $335. We're not going to let that expire and lose our premium. We have a stop loss here at high of day. So the most we risk is the loss between here and the stop loss. And then we set our target at 200, because on the daily chart, there is this range here between 174-ish and 200, this huge gap that needs to be filled in the stock. But you can see on these 2 candles here, 200, it's a very round number at 200, every 100, 100, 200, 300, very strong psychological levels, because people like these satisfying whole numbers. So strong support. So we're looking at this range here. Under this range, under this break below 210, we have freedom between 210 and 200, where there's not really much support or resistance going on, to test this 200 level prior to breaking down and filling this gap. So we'll watch this over the next couple of days for a breakdown to fill this gap. But today we just wanted to take a small trade in this little gap between 210 and 200 to capitalize on a potential test of this gap but we expect 200 to act as strong support. So I'm not expecting a break of that today. And then you can see right now, it came down. Our target is this red level at 200. However, I drew in a white line at our 1R, our 1-to-1 reward to risk, meaning this is how much we're risking. We are risking, what is this, $4.50. So $4.50 down here is right here at 203.50. So that's our 1R. So we are really looking for a win down to 200, which it looks now like it's going to hit 200. But the thing is this has a tendency to trade sideways, as we see, with a slight curve up. So once it made the secondary move down, came down to 201.50, not quite to 200, and then curled back up, and it broke up above 203.50. This is not actual resistance, but it ended up kind of looking like resistance. We just drew in this line to see our 1-to-1. So you can completely ignore this level in terms of support and resistance. It's just a level in the middle of nowhere. So we had this little bear pennant forming that could have curled up and ended up being this as the support of the day and being a reversal. But we can see now that this is actually continuing down. We could have made a lot more profits, but that doesn't matter because we managed our risk the way we'd always manage our risk. It curled up, tested our 1R, our 1-to-1. I didn't want to sacrifice being right on the trade that it will go down, and it ended up not going down all the way to our target and losing all of those profits. So I got out at our 1R. I was happy with the profits. We did not risk more than our potential reward. We made our reward. We made a good trade. We managed it to secure our profits in the small account challenge. It's what you have to do. You have to secure profits when you can. Slowly grow your account. You don't have to every single trade try and maximize your profits. Even though it looks like we are going to hit that 200 level, we predicted it will hit that 200 level. All of that was correct. We could have sat on our hands, been more patient, let it hit that level. But at the same time, as this curled up previously today, it could have curled up again and ended up reversing and not hitting our target today at all. And I didn't want to risk that happening. So I secured our profits. We ended up making $135 on this trade. And I believe at the start of the day, we had roughly, what was it, like $460. So 135 out of $460 is a 30% return on that trade, which is fantastic. 30% win on that. We've recovered our losses from yesterday, from day one, from our first day of the $500 small account challenge. We've recovered these losses. We're now overall in profit because Monday was a little bit of a tough market day. We studied it, we learned from it, and we came with a new game plan on Tuesday, made back our money, and then some. And that's what trading is all about. It's about being adaptable, learning, adapting to your environment, to different trading environments, and maximizing the opportunities that the market gives you every single day. On that note, thank you everybody who stopped in, asked questions about stocks and trading and investing. It was fun teaching you all this morning, entertaining you all with my trades. Those of you watching the VOD or the video on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way through to this point. Please follow, subscribe, like on whatever platform you're watching this on. It helps me reach more people with great content like this so that everybody can learn how to trade and make money, especially if they have a smaller account, such as $500. That's why I'm doing this challenge, to teach and help people and inspire, let you know that you can grow a small account to a bigger account and eventually pull profits out of that account as a secondary or tertiary income stream. So thank you again for watching this, and happy trading.